Good morning, ma'am. I'm Jimmarie Bantayan from Bshm 3A. This presentation highlights the biodiversity in the ecosystem. So what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the biological variety and variability of life on Earth. Biodiversity is a measure of variation at the genetic, species, and ecosystem level. Also, biodiversity is not distributed evenly on Earth and is richer in the tropics. These tropical forest ecosystems cover less than 10% of Earth's surface and contain about 90% of the world's species. Biodiversity is usually explored at three levels: genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. These three levels work together to create the complexity of life on Earth. Genetic diversity is the amount of variation in genetic material DNA within a species or within a population. The magnitude of variation in genes of a species increases with increase in size and environmental parameters of the habitat. Species diversity describes the variety in the number and abundance of species within a region. To accurately determine species diversity, both the species richness, which is the number of different species, and the relative abundance, which is the number of individuals within each species, must be considered. The species richness depends largely on climatic conditions. When a species is confined entirely to a particular area, it is termed as endemic species. A typical restoration effort, the Ecosystem Restoration Program in California, is guided by 6 main principles: recover endangered, at-risk, and indigenous biotic populations, rehabilitate environmental cycles, preserve or boost harvested populations, restore and protect habitats, prevent the establishment of and mitigate effects from non-native invasive species, improve or maintain sediment and water quality. According to the Society for Ecological Restoration, a typical misconception about ecological restoration is that it aims to revive past conditions. Instead, the goal of restoration should be to re-establish the evolutionary trajectories of ecosystems that were disrupted. The solutions here, while not all impacts on ecosystems are reversible, there are several ways to minimize and reverse human-induced adverse effects. Green technologies that reduce reliance on fossil fuels, decrease waste, and have low carbon footprints can make measurable differences on the quality of multiple ecosystems. For example, utilizing public transportation and carpooling can reduce gaseous carbon emissions. Alternative energy sources produce fewer atmospheric contaminants, and reducing the reliance on large-scale agriculture can help reduce soil and water pollution by minimizing excessive use of synthetic fertilizer. We must have an innovation that both raise the standard and state of each diversity in order to work together for common good. By keeping a calm and proficient environment, species can develop and multiply until the ecosystem will be healthy for every Harvesting and using ground for crops will hone it to bringing it back the nutrients that once feeds the livings. Since man is the responsible of his environment, let him be a good leader towards co-people and as the speaker of the environment.